Welcome to The Explainer, where we turn research into real-world insights. So let's talk about something we've all probably done. Have you ever seen someone with a clipboard up ahead and suddenly found the other side of the street incredibly interesting? Yeah, me too. We're wired to be generous, so why do we literally walk away from the chance to give? Let's get into it. So here's the paradox we're diving into today. All the research tells us that, deep down, humans are pretty generous species. It's baked into our DNA to help each other out. But if that's true, why is it that when the donation box starts making its way around the office, some of us suddenly become experts in ceiling tile patterns just to avoid making eye contact? What's really going on there? And the numbers, they're kind of wild. They paint a really confusing picture. So back in 2016, Americans gave a whopping $390 billion to charity. I mean, that is an incredible amount of generosity. But at the same time, the number of people actually volunteering their time, it's been dropping steadily. So what gives? Are we just, I don't know, writing checks to feel good without actually getting involved? Well, it turns out researchers have a name for this exact thing. They call it avoiding the ask. And get this, it's not just about forgetting to donate or being passive. It's an active effort. People will literally spend time and energy just to get out of being asked. Understanding this, well, it's the absolute key if you want to build social impact programs that people actually want to join instead of run away from. All right, so let's put ourselves in your employees' shoes for a second. That email about the new company giving campaign pops up in their inbox. What's the real reaction? Is it, ugh, not again? Is it genuine apathy? The research points to something way, way more interesting and complex than just a lack of generosity.
Okay, reason number one, it can be completely emotionally draining. Seriously, when you're faced with the huge scale of a problem, a giant global crisis or some deep-rooted social issue, it's just a lot. It can feel totally overwhelming. You know that feeling you get after seeing a devastating news report? That sense of, what can I even do? That's the start of what psychologists call compassion fatigue. And this is where our brains do something kind of weird and counterintuitive. Studies have actually shown that the more people who are in need, the less compassion we might feel for any single one of them. It sounds harsh, but it's really just a defense mechanism. Our brain is trying to protect us from being emotionally overloaded, so it becomes easier to just disengage, to tune it out, instead of feeling the full weight of it all.
Okay, so the second big reason we dodge the donation box, it's just awkward. It's socially uncomfortable. Think about it. When someone asks you for a donation in public or in front of your coworkers, you're suddenly on the spot. All eyes are on you, and that creates this instant, pretty uncomfortable social pressure. All of a sudden, the request stops being about helping a cause. It becomes this social test. You start worrying, if I say no, are they going to think I'm cheap? But on the other hand, you might really resent saying yes just because you feel pressured. So to avoid that whole messy internal debate, and the potential judgment, what's the easiest thing to do? Just avoid the situation altogether.
And this right here is the perception gap, and it is so important to understand. You, running the program, might see what looks like apathy. You might think nobody's engaging. But what your employees are often actually feeling is pressure. They're feeling overwhelmed. And it's not their fault. It's often a direct result of how the ask was designed in the first place. Okay, but here is the good news. This is totally fixable. Once we understand why people avoid the ask, we can flip the script. We can turn a dreaded ask into a welcome invitation. So let's dive into 3 really powerful science-backed principles that will help us do just that. Principle number 1 is all about empowering autonomy. I mean, at the end of the day, who doesn't want to feel like they're in the driver's seat of their own choices? It's a fundamental human need. There's this whole field of psychology called self-determination theory, and it basically says that feeling a sense of control is a huge driver for our motivation and just our general happiness. So the takeaway for you is pretty simple, but it's also incredibly powerful. When you give your employees real choice, like what cause they want to support or how they want to contribute, you're doing something amazing. You're changing the game. It's no longer an obligation. It becomes a meaningful, personal choice that they actually feel good about. All right, on to principle number 2. This one is all about sparking that warm glow. And yes, that is the actual technical term economists use. It's that genuinely good feeling you get deep down when you do something generous for someone else. We've all felt it.
And this isn't just some fluffy concept. It's a real thing happening in your brain. Brain scans actually show that when we give, the reward centers of our brain light up, the same ones that fire for things like good food or even money. So how do you spark it? You show tangible impact. Don't just say your donation helps fight hunger. Be specific. Say your $10 will buy a hot meal for a child right here in our city. See the difference? That's what creates the glow.
And for our third and final principle, we need to talk about social proof. Let's be honest, we're all social creatures. We look to others to figure out what's normal, what's expected, basically how we should behave. And this is especially true when it comes to giving. This study is just a perfect example. A public radio station was doing a fundraiser. For some callers, they just asked for a donation. For others, they casually mentioned that a previous donor had given $300. And guess what? Just mentioning that one high number increased the average donation from everyone else by 12%. It's not about pressure, it's about setting a new norm, a new anchor for what feels like a generous gift. Okay, so we've got our 3 big ideas. Give people autonomy, spark that warm glow, and leverage social proof. Awesome. But now let's make it super practical. How do you actually put this science into practice? Let's build a playbook you can use for your next campaign starting tomorrow. Here we go. 4 concrete steps for a better ask. First, offer real choices. Don't just have one cause. Let employees pick what they're passionate about. That's your autonomy piece. Second, show concrete impact. Forget the giant statistics. Show them the one person or the one project their donation supports. That's your warm glow. Third, highlight that other people are participating. You can share anonymous data, like 50 of your colleagues have already joined in. That's your social proof. And finally, step 4, make it ridiculously easy to give. One click, no complicated forms, reduce that friction.
And here's a little pro tip for you. One message doesn't fit all. You've got to tailor it. Research shows that some people respond really well to an individual-focused message, something like, you can be a lifesaver. But for others, a community-focused message is way more powerful, like, let's save a life together. You might even think about asking your employees what kind of impact they want to have. It's a small tweak that can make a huge difference. All right, we've covered a lot, right? We've gone from the psychology of why people hide from the donation box to the science of what actually makes them feel good about giving, and even a practical playbook. So if you're going to remember just one thing from all of this, what should it be? It all comes down to this one crucial shift in mindset, designed for invitation, not for obligation. Stop trying to make people feel like they have to give. Instead, create an opportunity that makes them feel like they get to give. Make it empowering, make it feel good, make it a moment of connection, not a transaction. So I'll leave you with this one question to take back to your team. As you plan your next campaign, ask yourself honestly, are we building an obligation or are we creating a genuine opportunity? Because when you reframe your approach, when you design for that invitation, you don't just get more participation, you actually help people connect with that deep, powerful generosity that we all have inside of us.